Howdy, Brazoria County. It is September 2nd. We're here for an afternoon update from Judge Richard Davis's courtroom here in Angleton. Joining me this afternoon is Judge Richard Davis to my far right, Sheriff Charles Wagner to my immediate right, to my immediate left, David Linder, Precinct 4 Commissioner, and to the far left, Precinct 2 Commissioner Ryan Cade. Commissioner Payne is in the air observing floodwaters, and Commissioner Adams is in the north end of the county working with constituents as we speak. I wanted to bring you up to date on the conditions that we have in Brazoria County from the rainfall and the flooding from Hurricane Harvey. I'd like to first talk about some of the things that have gone on over the last 24 hours and where we're at in retrieving folks, that type of thing. As of this afternoon, we were at over 1,600 people rescued and retrieved from floodwaters. And when we say rescued and retrieved, we've had a few rescues, but most of the operations that we have are retrievals. When folks call in, they've stayed in, they've got trapped in, they call in and we're able to go in and get them out. We've had very few actual rescue situations, but we've addressed those as they have arisen. We've got shelters. We've had 2,500 people impacted, transported over 700, and we have touched over 3,000 animals. We've got about 1,000 out at the fairgrounds with some wonderful volunteers from Texas AgriLife and the Texas A&M Veterinary Services folks taking care of them. Thanks to Department of Public Service, Gulf Coast Rescue Squad, the Coast Guard, Texas Military, Brazoria County Military Museum, Texas Parks and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Texas A&M Forestry Service, our Texas A&M Agriculture, AgriLife and Veterinary Services, all of our law enforcement and fire department from here in Brazoria County that are not only watching after you now, but do it year-round 24/7. Our task force responders, SecTrac, TEEX, TDEM, the Baptist men who are feeding a lot of volunteers and first responders, and our Florida Dade Response Task Force. Just all those folks here working to keep us here in Brazoria County safe and sound. I'm still proud to say that we've not had a casualty yet from this flooding situation, and that is each one of us up here, that is our goal, to keep that from happening. So we're going to ask you to all stay safe and not put yourself in harm's way. I'd like to talk about the San Bernard River, the chart to my left. From what the National Weather Service is telling us and projecting, the crest, which is higher today than what they were projecting yesterday, is moving through Brazoria County at this time for their projections. It's hard to say exactly where it is because we do not have official gauges on the river, but their projections are at 33.8 feet, and we've heard reports of water slightly rising along the San Bernards. We're going to ask all of our folks there, please be careful. Then we should start seeing in the next few days a slow release on that, but we will have floodwaters with us for quite a while. If we could go to the Brazos River, I'm going to start in the north end of the county on the Brazos River in Rocheron. We had a peak a couple of days ago at 52.54, I believe. Which actually, I think it was actually 52.67. We're down to 52.4 feet. As you can see, it has just fallen a few inches, and for the next 5 days, we're going to be well above major flood stage. So we're probably 5 to 7 days before we're going to get now down to that. Anything above 48 to 49 feet, we are still seeing water pumped into the floodplain that will come across the Oyster Creek watershed and continue to flow south. If we could go to the next one, please. The next chart is the Brazos River at West Columbia. We're at about a 32.76 reading, still projected in the next couple of days to get up to 32 feet by the river forecasters. So we need to watch out. What that tells us is the crest is moving through Brazoria County very slowly. And as you see, they are projecting it will hold for several days beyond that. So as long as those rivers are full, we're going to continue to see river water out in the flatlands and moving slowly southward. I'd like to now talk about our evacuation areas. The evacuation that we've had in place since last Thursday morning at around 10:30 has remained the same. We have gone in and actually added down here in the areas around Lake Jackson that are county, right outside city limits, as well as along Bastrop Bayou, County Road 288, just north of Richwood, along the bayou that's within the county's jurisdiction. Those have all been moved into mandatory evacuation areas. There is significant flooding in those areas, and we ask people all down Bastrop Bayou to please be aware the waters will be with us for a while. Let's go to the inundation map, please, sir. We're still on our inundation map, showing just widespread flooding throughout the county. The only thing I can positively say is in the very northern reaches of the county, the waters are down a little bit, just a few inches. So it's still going to take a while for all of that water to recede. As we had a river modeler last year during last year's flood, told us it's like a huge lake just sliding across down through the county, and it's going to funnel down into a lot of it into Bastrop Bayou as it gets there. So please be safe, any of you in these areas. If you are not here, if you have evacuated, we're still asking you, please don't come home. There's going to be some fuel supply issues, grocery supply issues, and we are still closing roads as floodwaters increase in some areas as they move further south. It will be several days, if not a week, before it is safe to come home. And we're not going to lift the evacuation areas until the water is off the roads and the area is safe. We're going to ask that you please stay updated with the county website, with our social media on Twitter and Facebook. We're putting out information as quick as we get it and can verify that it is correct. Unfortunately, out on social media, there is lots of incorrect information, and I would ask people to please use your common sense, check reliable sources, and follow that, and then so you can make the decisions that affect you and your family. Check the city websites and their social media for their information as they put it out. We are sharing the city's information as we get it, and we are absolutely working with all of our partner cities to share that information. Down through, as I said earlier, the river waters and flood waters have increased in the north part of Lake Jackson and in Richwood. So we've got areas that are flooding that did not flood a year ago. The water elevation is higher than it was, but I want to let citizens know this is not a flash flood wall of water. It is water that is slowly rising, so it's not a flash flood type situation. As I said on social media, there are lots of rumors, and I want to quell a couple of those rumors. We've seen on the local news, national news, talking about Addicks Reservoir in Harris County. That water has zero effect on Brazoria County. It has zero effect. It is not something we need to be concerned about unless you have families up in those areas. But for Brazoria County, it has no effect on us. I'd also like to say there's been a lot of question about Dow's reservoirs. They're perfectly fine. They have been flown. They've been looked at. We have no water coming from those reservoirs. They are perfectly sound. The elevation, the levees around Angleton, perfectly fine. The levees protecting the Brazosport area, perfectly fine. Hurricane Harvey has been such a strange situation. It's very rare when we get hurricane or their remnants where the driest areas in Brazoria County are Quintana, Surfside Beach, Oyster Creek, and Freeport. It's very rare, but that is how strange this situation has been. I'd also like to remind folks that the floodwaters that we have that are flowing across the county are coming from very rural areas where everyone is on septic systems. We all know water in septic systems. That is now what is in all of those waters. So please, if you can, stay out of the water. It is not healthy to be in that water. We're going to ask, please be safe. Please watch out for yourself. Please watch out for your family. If you have an emergency, please call 911. Sheriff's Department, all of our resources will be out to help you out. But if you're in these evacuated areas, it would really be beneficial if you were out of those areas. Please be safe. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and God bless.